are no zeros in this class. If you have not presented to me, then I come up with another way for you to show me that you've learned about cults and or religion, and then we move on. Okay? But if you want to avoid that other way, then come find me and talk to me about your specific topic. Any questions on drop dead due date? That's this Friday. So you got 4 days. Plus, I won't even be here tomorrow. So now you're down to 2 days. Well, 3 days. Today, Thursday, or Friday. Yes, dear. Yeah. Yes, it's an online test. But move on. Let's go. That's enough. You make food look really good. Like I'm hungry now. Okay. I will now hand out to you the deviance summative description. It looked familiar. Okay, you've seen these before. And you have choices again. I was so disappointed. Nobody made a poster last time. Nobody sang me a song. Nobody made a comic. It's okay. You can do those things. Can you draw? Draw me something. Is that the milkshake one? Oh. It's like just eating pure sugar. I'm glad you can eat it. If I ate that, I would instantly gain 10 pounds. Just like that. Bam. 3, 4, 5. There might be an extra, sorry. Okay, take a minute, just kind of read it over. And I'm taking us to the SIRS website. Is there an extra, or there was an extra? And you're welcome to go ahead and open your PUDAs to and get on the internet. When's that fad going to go away? And go ahead and go to the SIRS website, sks.sirs.com. Okay. You may or may not be there. I'm just going to start reading this bad boy, and then we'll pause and kind of take a look at SIRS, see what's available, and then I'll read the rest. And then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it. So by the end of this unit of study, you should be able to do those 5 things. So you should be able to explain why people engage in criminal behavior. Why do they do that? Why do people engage in criminal behavior? Why do people commit crimes? What do they get out of it? We're assuming that every decision is a rational decision. So why do people commit violent crimes? Why do husbands beat up their wives? Why do they sexually assault? Why does that happen? Why does date rape happen? But let's get into other things. Why do people commit what are called white collar crimes? I bet there are people in here who've been a victim to a white collar crime. I have been a victim of a white collar crime. Does anyone know what a white collar crime is? It's when you get ripped off. It's when you take your car to the shop and all you need is a new muffler, and suddenly they give you 4 new tires, and you say, I didn't ask for 4 new tires. Well, we thought you needed 4 new tires, and then you get billed. That's a white collar crime. It's when you get ripped off. Okay, and if you had or your parents had their credit card stolen, and then suddenly your parents are noticing all these things from Alabama, and they've never been to Alabama, that's white collar crime. Why do those people do that? Okay, so you should be able to explain why people engage in criminal behavior. Number 2, what are crimes against property? You should be able to tell me what are crimes against property. Okay. By the way, before we continue, could anyone name a crime against property? Could anyone do that right now?
Smashing this desk.
Yes. Trespassing is a maybe. Here, let me engage in this fun little scenario. Okay, you need to mow your yard. Okay, you start up your lawnmower, it doesn't start. So you notice that your neighbor's garage door is open and there's his shiny new lawnmower. You go in there, you take his lawnmower, you mow your lawn, and then you return it. Are you guilty of a crime? What crime? Who said theft? Did you steal it? You borrowed it. Is that stealing? Did you? Are you sure? Well, let's see. All right. So this is the unit where you will find out if that was actually a crime, and then what crime is it? Okay. You definitely snuck into your neighbor's garage. So that's called burglary, right? Entering a place without having permission is called burglary, right? But then you took his lawnmower and you mowed your lawn, but then you put it back. So is that a crime? Okay. So anyway, you should be able to tell me what a crime against property is. Number 3, it says you should be able to explain what this thing called urbanization is. Does anyone know what urbanization is? Somerset is a victim of Tier 3 urbanization. Did you know that? Did you know that you are a suburb of the Twin Cities metropolitan area? And some of you might be thinking, that's not possible. We're in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a different state. Twin Cities are in Minnesota. We're in Wisconsin. We can't be a suburb. You're wrong. We are a suburb. And thanks, Bridge. That bridge is expected to increase the size of Somerset. And actually, I've seen it. When I was a youngin' here teaching, just starting out, graduating classes were 75, 80, 85. Last year's class was 123. This year's class is 105, I think, something like that. And that's the new norm. We're just bigger now, right? You know you're getting out early this spring. You're getting out May 8th. Fingers crossed, May 8th. Do you know why? Man, they're gutting this school. This is going to be the same. Damn it. Apparently, I'm getting a window or something. Like I'm getting a couple windows, I guess. But that from here over is gone. It's gone. That wall will not be there. The library will not be there. Hoff's room is gone. It's just gone, right? And it's because the taxpayers of Somerset agreed to fix this school and make it ready for the new reality, and it's just a bigger student population. Hey, when I started out here, we were Division 5 in football. What were we this year? 4?
Yeah.
Or 3? We were
4 now.
Yep. Boys basketball and wrestling, we were Division 3. We're now Division 2, right? We're just a growing school district. Okay. How did I get that? Oh, that's all part of this thing called urbanization, right? Number 4, you should be able to explore both sides of issues related to criminal behavior. That's what you're going to be doing on SIRS. And then number 5, assess attempts to combat crime. What works? I want the bunny to go from here to here. What works? The carrot or the stick? What works better? What works better for you? To be rewarded for good behavior or to be punished for bad behavior? Both things happen. How many do you get? You don't need to show hands here, but how many do you get paid for good grades? Like money. Your parents give you like $50 per A or something like that. Okay. And do any of you drive these things called cars? You drive vehicles. Any of you drive? Do you get a discount because you have a good GPA? Most insurance companies give a discount for a good GPA because they equate good grades with better driver. Okay. That's the carrot approach. But then there's the stick approach. I don't want to know, please do not raise your hand, but have any of you been arrested? Have any of you gotten a speeding ticket? You know, the worst people on the roads are 2 groups, young people and really old people for different reasons. You drive too fast, they drive too slow. Okay. Anyway, that's the stick approach. So you should be able to do those 5 things by the end of this unit. All right. Are we all on SIRS? Follow the instructions. It says, please go to sirs.com and you are free to choose any topic under the crime and punishment category. So we have to drag down. If you're on SIRS, you drag down to crime and punishment. And here they are. All right, some good topics here, right? Gun control. Should we have more gun control, right? Anytime there's a mass shooting, there's this outreach of people saying we need to remove guns from the population. But wait, are you sure? Maybe if we armed teachers, first time there's a school shooting, I'll just whip out my bad boy and take that man out, right? Florida authorized arming teachers. Wisconsin isn't there yet. Minnesota isn't there yet. Not sure it's a good idea, right? If Mr. Hoff loses it, might he just like, that's it? And then remember, when you empty, you just drop. You don't reload. You remove 2 new guns. And then make sure you look as bored as possible. Okay. Should we execute people? The United States is the only first world nation to execute people. Okay. No nation in Europe does it. They all feel that it's cruel. We still do. Should we? Okay. Should we legalize hooch? It's legal in Colorado. It's legal in what, 8 states? Ish, something like that. In Minnesota, it's legal with a doctor's note. If you can prove, like, all right, you're doing cancer treatment and it gets you sick, and marijuana calms you down and stuff like that. Okay. Police brutality. It's not should the police be brutal. That's not the question. I'd say we'd all say no there, but you want to know what the question is, you got to click on it. Okay. Again, should we have gangs? That's not the question. If you are interested in it, click on it. Okay. I'm going to just let you go for a few minutes here, maybe 5-6 minutes here. So I'll revisit you when the big hand is on the 1. What your job is right now is to just explore. Go ahead and explore the SIRS site. Find a topic that maybe interests you. For the most part, when I looked at this before, I don't remember seeing anything that I was uncomfortable with. Okay, so just explore a little bit, see if there's anything of interest to you, and click on that topic. Many times if you click on a topic, by the way, it'll take you to it. Let's just see if this is true. So I'm going to click on capital punishment. No, it's only one question. Sometimes when you click on it, it'll take you to a subset of questions, like more options appear. And that didn't happen this time. So. If you have any questions, call me over. Awesome. Yeah, you pick one article from this column, one article from that column, present, and then like one both sides, but you'd agree and refute. Okay. When you think you've found, again, you've got a few minutes here, so take your time. But when you think you found a topic that's sort of like, I'm going to go with this one, all I'm going to ask you to do is you can either write it on a piece of paper and just give it to me, or you can email it to me. It's fine. Or if you're on the Remind app, just text it to me. That's fine too. I just want to know what you're going to go with. Okay. You can partner up. if you want to do a Google presentation, partner up, awesome. That'd be great. And same rules apply as before. If you do it in front of everyone, full credit. If you write a 4 to 6 paragraph paper, full credit. If you choose to not do it that way, you'll get most of the credit, but then you just have to make up the difference in other ways, which is fine. And remember, you have to write, everyone has to write at least one more paper. Okay? We all wrote the paper on whether or not we should remove the words under God. You got to do one more. Many of you done. But by the end of the year, I mean, so you have till January. One more paper. Yes. Right. So this one's a biggie. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on this one, month-ish, something like that. And then we do race, and that's a biggie too. So that's another 3-week-ish sort of lesson. And then after that, we do sort of these multiple mini ones: government, the liberal media, global warming, that fad. That was a joke. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody, right? I don't know. 5-ish? What'd you just mouth to me? It looked like you said a naughty word.
Oh, no, I did not. I did not do that.
Okay. So you're communicating to me your topic choice. I will allow you to explore. If you are, if you know what you're doing, then my suggestion is you click on it, look at the question, and then begin. Like, choose one of the articles. You have to pick an article for both sides. Pick one from this side, pick one from that side. Read the thing. You've been given a reading strategy. Read it. Come up with arguments. Visual arguments this time. Don't just have endless words with more words and then more words. Ugh. What is it, 3 to 6 minutes? I think it's 3 to 6 minutes. Well, there was on a separate handout how you do presentations. If you're doing a podcast, though, I want it to be more than just you talking into the microphone, right? Have a guest speaker, maybe. Have a little bit of music or something. Make it so that I want to listen. Don't be boring. That's a good approach to life, by the way. Don't be boring. I'm going to give you 1 more minute, and then we have to move on here. You don't have to come up with your idea now. You don't. If you're also partnering up, just will you also tell me that as well? Who your buddy is? It could be somebody in the other sociology class too, by the way, if you happen to know who that is. You can, if you have a piece of paper, you can just put it right here. Thank you. Or again, text me, email me. Definitely. Okay, good question. So she just asked, can you use more than sirs? Yes, you can use more than sirs. But what does that mean you have to use? Sirs. You got to start here. Now, you can go beyond, but you got to start here. Okay. I think sirs is maybe the best website that I'm familiar with. I mean, I use Google all the time, but Google is a library. Please don't, by the way, please don't say you got a quote from sirs. That's like saying I found this quote in the library. Yeah, where? Okay, and just as a reminder, let's just say I'm doing gun control. Okay, so I click on gun control, and the issue is, should gun regulation be tightened? So I find this article, and I click on it. Over to the right of the actual article is this word called cite. Click on it. It then takes me to the bibliographic information. I didn't get this quote from SIRS. I got it from Marco Rubio. That's who I got it from. He's a writer for the New York Times. And he wrote this article September 13th of 2019.
Didn't he run for president?
That's him. Marco Rubio. That's him. Yep. Okay, so make sure you use the cited source. Okay, before I keep rattling on here, any questions so far? So far, what I've thrown out is an expectation that you soon have a choice from SIRS about what you'd like to investigate. Okay? Keep going. Under requirements says you must find 2 SIRS articles, one in favor of and one against, one from the left-hand column and one from the right-hand column for your question. You have to read 2 articles, okay, whatever your question is. And it says you need to use at least one argument for both articles in your product. So when you're creating this thing, whatever this thing is, I need to be able to say, aha, there's an argument in favor of gun control. There's an argument against gun control. Am I interrupting? You see this? You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the stick, everybody. Did you see that? That was the stick. That's right. I mean, you don't even know. You don't even know. Probably don't even lift. Okay. Okay. I need to see an argument for both sides somehow. Now, I don't know if any of you are fairly creative. I suspect that some of you are fairly creative. But let's say you want to make a comic book, which you can do. You can make a comic book. Don't have a slide in your comic book with Marco Rubio standing there saying, well, I think we should have no gun control because blah, 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 blah. No! Stop it! Okay? Have, like, Batman, like, doing something and then, okay. Don't just draw the author of the article saying in a quote bubble the argument. That's not creative. Make it into something. Okay. Yeah. And then it says, provide examples for both sides of your argument. And then it says you must cite correctly. And then ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to support one and refute the other. You're going to support one side of the issue and refute the other side of the issue. So you'll say like, well, here's what he says, and here's why I disagree. Okay. Any questions up to not including output options? Am I interrupting? Did you just say I wasn't interrupting? I seem to be failing to communicate what I'm really thinking here. Fix it. Oh, you're starting already. God, you're an overachiever. Okay. Output options. What are available? Well, again, you could write a 4 to 6 paragraph paper. 4 paragraphs would be intro, 1 argument for, 1 argument against conclusion. 5 paragraphs would be 1 argument, intro, 1 argument for, 2 arguments against conclusion, or intro, 2 arguments for, 1 argument against conclusion. 6 paragraphs would be intro, 2 arguments for, 2 arguments against conclusion. Any of those options are available. You can have an A4 paragraph paper and an F6 paragraph paper. 6 paragraphs of crap is crap. It's just a lot of it. 4 paragraphs of pure genius is pure genius. Much of it, but it's still pure genius. Okay? Or you could create, it says number 2, you could create a Google presentation with 1 to 2 arguments in favor, 1 to 2 arguments against, and then you pick a side. Or a podcast, a video, a comic book, a painting, a play. You could act it out. That would be cool. Again, just as long as I'm seeing the arguments, be creative, man. Right? There's no limit. You have something that's not on here. You think it'd be kind of cool? Then come up to me and sell it to me. Say, here's what I want to do. Probably say, cool. Run with it. Okay. Now, what's entirely possible is that let's say you do some sort of an output. It's entirely possible that the output I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna say like, okay, I'm not seeing where your arguments are. You might have to have like a one-page kind of explanation of what's going on so that I can say, oh, okay, I get it. There it is. Okay. So is there any question on this peso paper? What's the due date? When's this due? November 11th, right? That's a Monday. That's not next Monday, but the Monday after. So you got this week and next week to work on it, and then I start collecting evidence that you've done this Monday, the 11th, okay? Which is Veterans Day, actually. Any questions? Do you get it? Okay, I've got one more handout for you. You don't have this, right? You just walked in. Anybody else just walk in, did not get this? Everyone else has this piece of paper? Jason? Okay, great. Next thing I'm handing out is for all of you. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does anyone know what a hate crime is? Say hate. So Nathan just said it's a crime based on prejudice. I think that's right on. Anybody else? Any details of what a hate crime is? Husband goes home and murders his wife. Hate crime? What if the husband was white and the wife was black? Hate crime? So now we're getting into maybe territory, right? What if the husband is a male and the wife is a female, which is generally true? Hate crime? What if the husband was Catholic and the wife was Jewish? Hate crime? That's a hate crime?
Well, I mean, it depends on the context of the crime.
Definitely. Okay, so very good, Jack. So now we know that it depends on the motive. Hate crimes depend on why you committed the crime. So a husband comes home and kills his wife because she withdrew all the savings and put it and wasted it in Vegas.
Brownies.
What?
She killed her because she did something stupid.
Okay, right. Terrible, awful, hate crime. But husband came home and said, I hate Jews and you're a Jew, and so kills his wife. Okay, there's something going on there. So it depends on the motive. Okay. So I don't really want to tell you anymore because this is a non-graded assignment. On Kia. Okay, so could we all visit Kia now? Go ahead, visit Kia. And go ahead and find the correct Kia. I think it's called reading assessment on crime or something like that. That's it. Sociology assessment on crime, and then in capital letters, reading. I don't necessarily want you to do this now, but you should. This class ends at 44, right? 44. Now, so you probably will have a little bit of time, but that reading assessment on Kia is based on this article. Okay, it's not graded, so you have nothing to worry about if you bomb it. Fine, who cares? I just want to know, are you able to take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 page article
which it's 6 pages, but it really isn't 6 pages. I mean, there's a lot of empty space here, Bad. I could have probably densed this up into a front and the back of 2 pages, right? So yeah, it's 6 pages, but don't be intimidated. Have that reading assessment completed. And actually all 4 of the formatives, none of them are graded. And it says it's due by 11/1. That's Friday. So on Kia, we're starting already. On Kia, there's 4. Are there 4?
Mhm.
There are 4. Okay. There are 4 assessments on some sort of a deviant behavior. None of them are graded. I just want to see where you're at. Are you familiar with these things? What do you know about deviant behavior? But don't worry about them being graded. Okay. And actually, I would probably caution you, don't start them yet, because I think a couple of them have prompt requirements, like you have to look at a prompt, and I have not put those on the website yet. So hold off. Except the reading one, you could actually probably take that one in a bit. Don't start yet. In a bit. Okay. Any questions on that? You get it? Okay. Finally, let's start talking about deviant behavior. So I liked the Kia assessment. So we're going to do that again. So there will be an actual online assessment based on notes that we're taking in class. All of these will be on the website. So if you don't want to be writing things down, well, then don't. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to check these things. I don't even, do other teachers do that? Do they require you to take notes? And then later on, you're wondering, why did I do that? There was nothing, we didn't do anything with these notes. I don't care if you take notes or not. I don't care. But do know that this is fair game, that I can throw out questions about this stuff, and you're expected to know the stuff. So before I answer this question, let me ask you this question. I just want you to think about it. Here I have 33 sophomores, juniors, seniors, and here you are. You're in this building. You're all sitting quietly. Some of you are probably on the internet doing something that I don't want you to do, but you're doing it respectfully. I don't see any of you throwing out the Effenheimer to me, although she looked like she mouthed something to me before, but I don't have any proof. Did you say my, okay. Why? Why are you sitting here? Why isn't one of you like pushing me? How come you're not out there? It's a lovely day. It's sunny, and why aren't you water skiing? How come you're not, skiing in Colorado? Why are you here? Let's pursue that idea a little bit, Ms. Gao. Okay, so she just said we have to be. Why do you have to be? Okay, because you're required to be. You have to be because you're required to be. I still don't know why you're here. Yes, Jack.
Because we don't like the consequences for not being here.
I see. So now we're introducing this idea of consequences. Do you have to be here?
Yeah.
You don't actually. You could, any one of you right now could physically get up and walk out that door, go to your car, and leave. Thank you, Jack, for acting that out. But you aren't. None of you are. Why? Why aren't you getting up and walking out right now? Jack was close. Why? You can get a ticket. You can get a truant ticket. Yes. You can be punished. Is that motivating you?
Yeah.
So what's keeping you here right now is fear of punishment.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else in here? That's why you're here? Allow me to say that's rather sad. That's why you're here. Is there anyone in here for a different reason? Yes?
There's also award because you get to go to college, and then if you want to, but getting a GED or graduating high school, and then you can get a job because of that. So
very good. So for you, it sounds like this is a necessary hoop to bigger and better things. Okay, great. So all right. So some of you are here because you don't want a truancy ticket. And some of you are here because it's all part of your plan, your bigger plan. This is a class called Sociology. You didn't have to take this class. Why did you? Why are you in this room and not that room? or that room, or a different social studies class. Why this one? Now, for some of you, it's because the counselor put you here. Sorry. Why are you in this room? Okay, let me ask you this. Are any of you kind of interested in the subject matter? Did you sort of find religion and cults kind of interesting? Are you sort of looking forward to learning about? Okay, so some of you are genuinely interested. I see many of you aren't. Awesome. Okay, that's what we're sort of getting into is why do people make the decisions they do? And so I'm going to show you some things. So I want you to think of personally my favorite family right there. Besides my own, of course. I love my family. I love my family. Okay, love my family. Think about what works in your house, right? How do your parents, for those of you who live with mom and dad, or if some of you live with just mom or just dad or mom, stepdad, whatever it is, how do they get you to do the right thing? Okay, I just want you to take a minute here and think about how does your family get you to do the right thing? Are there punishments involved? Do you get grounded? Does your phone get taken away? Do the car keys get taken away? Do you get paid for good grades? Do any of these things sound familiar? Yes, these are typical family things, right? In some extreme cases, punishment is physical, that you're spanked when you're young or something like that. It's verbal. It's go to your room. It's yelling. It's screaming. All of these things are used as a way to get you to behave a certain way. Okay. How about peers? How do your friends get you to engage in certain behavior? You've heard of this thing called peer pressure. Come on, smoke this, everyone. Don't you want to be cool? Okay, and you feel that peer pressure. Is that about right? Or come on, drink this, or go there, or do this, and you give into that peer pressure. By the way, allow me to stand on my soapbox for a moment and say this. I know this to be true. When you're at that place and your friends are saying, just do it, come on, whatever it is, and you have the guts to say no, and then they start saying, what a loser. You know what they're actually thinking in many cases? I wish I was as strong as you. You're stronger than I am. Just think about reversing that peer pressure, right? When they say, just do it, everyone's do it, and you say no, what you've just done is posited in that person's brain a little thing. It's right here, and hopefully it'll grow, but it's like, wow, you're a pretty strong person. Be that strong person. Be that strong person. There, that's enough of that. Okay. A couple other things here. My computer froze. How about schools? How does this school get you to behave? We can throw out ideas here if we want. When the big fan is on the 6, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to kind of let you start attacking the Kias if you want, and start researching. But give me 3 more minutes, okay? How does this school get you to behave? Ideas. And how do you physically see that they like you?
Figures of authority appreciate you.
How do you see that? What is the manifestation of the appreciation?
You get asked, like, to take on more responsibility.
Very good. So Jack, have you been given greater freedom in this building? Yes, you have. Weren't you named one of the leaders that went to off campus one time or something like that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you were part of that group. Okay, very good. Some of you are seen as responsible, and you're given more responsibility. Okay, very good. Any other ways that this school gets you to behave a certain way? Punishment or reward?
Makes you quiet down during class if you're talking.
Yeah, but how do they do that? Okay, so the shh method, right? Okay. Suspension. Is that real?
Yeah.
This school suspends kids?
I don't know here, but.
It does?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think you're right.
It's suspended, Nick. We get suspended.
Suspended, out of school. You've been removed from school. No, no. Maybe used to, but I don't think that happens anymore. This year.
At least not yet.
You know why not yet? I don't think it's a thing anymore. I honestly do not think suspension is a thing anymore because I believe that this is true, that the building administration finally came to the conclusion this kid is trying to get out of school, and as a punishment, we're removing him from school. That doesn't make any sense, right? Now we do have lunch and learn. Lunch and learn, Mr. Eichten? Have any of this been part of lunch and learn? Although I think they call it something different. Okay. Any other ways that the school gets you to behave a certain way? Okay, so academically, if some of you are struggling, you're given additional help. That's the way we're going to phrase it. All right. I have a set of rules. I call them the Reggie Larson rules, and actually I see two possible recipients of the Reggie Larson rules. Reggie Larson, the head coach at New Richmond, was a student here. I taught him, right? And right, you're supposed to be in class on time, right? But Reggie would just be wandering the halls. And so I'd go out there and say, Reggie, why aren't you in class? And he'd look at me, and he'd keep walking, right? Reggie Larson. Now, do you know why Reggie Larson was able to do what Reggie Larson was able to do? He's Mr. Larson's kid. And there's Miss Eichten's kid. And there's Miss Cisco's kid, right? Now, I don't know this to be true. And actually, we'll just end the video stream right now. There we go. There. All of this.